Good morning. So, oh my gosh, it is so freaking cold, and I really don't like the winter. I'm a summer baby, of course. I was born in August, so I love the summer actually. But any little warm weather will do for me, okay? So this is my first vlog, everybody. And I'm so excited because I want to be like, what was I thinking? And it's so funny, I created my channel in 2010, but I didn't do anything with it. So that goes to show you. And in my 30s was like, maybe even my late 20s and 30s was like the prime time I should have been on this. Like, I should have been recording stuff. Like, when I say I had the time of my life, even if I tell you the story, it wouldn't do any justice. Like, you would have had to be there. Like, my friends, my family, oh my gosh, we had crazy times. Oh gosh. But a little bit about me. I mean, I'm a Virginia girl. I'm from Virginia. I was born in New York, but I'm a Virginia girl because I was raised in Virginia. I'm from the Hampton Roads area. So, I'm a little southern girl a little bit, but I'm really a city girl at heart. I don't know if it's because I was born in New York or what, I don't know. Or it could just have been that I just wanted out. I needed to explore the world. So I really never stayed in Virginia much, except for when I was in school, and even then I left, went to live with my aunt, and she lived in Northern Virginia. That's when she was in the military, and I lived with her in Northern Virginia, so I got to experience that Northern Virginia vibe back in the day in DC. And then I eventually started visiting my mom's first cousin in New York, because I used to love when they would come down and visit me. So I always just wanted to go to New York like everyone else. You hear New York, you're like, I gotta go to New York. And so I just always wanted to go to New York. And I had plenty of family there, so it worked out. I ended up going there in the summers. Well, first of all, I will always travel up there, whether bus, I don't care how I got there. My aunt lived in upstate New York, so our family was always traveling to upstate New York when I was little. And then eventually when I got old enough, I would jump on the bus and go to Brooklyn, New York, see my cousin and hang out and do a little shopping. And then when I started driving, I mean, I was always on the road. I was never home. Never, ever home. And my road dog, one of my cousins, we ended up linking back up. She was still in high school. I was in college, but oh my gosh, we just had fun. And we would take that Chinese bus. The Chinese bus. Woo, that was today. I mean, we would take it to DC, we would take it to New York, and we would go just to shop with $200, maybe $300 in our pockets. That was back in the day when you could actually find something and spend 2 to 3, maybe 5, the most. When your parents give you an allowance, or if you're working and you spend your money. But that was back in the day when you could actually shop and buy stuff and not feel like you going broke trying to buy it. Man, I miss those days. And then I went to college. I went to Norfolk State, NSU. Behold the green and gold. And in high school, I took a fashion merchandising class, and I always dreamed of being a fashion designer. That's what I told myself. And the funny thing is, they had a fashion merchandising class, and so I took that class in high school as an elective, and we went to New York for a trip. So that was so exciting. We had fun, and that's when I went with my best friend, and we just, oh my gosh, we had so much fun. And I never looked back. I said, oh, I definitely got to get to New York. So I had a dream of being a fashion designer, and we didn't have social media back then, so that tells you how old I am. I'm in my 40s, yes, and loving it and proud. Thank you. But I wanted to be a designer, and I definitely had skills. I started at an early age. No one told me how to sew. I just picked up a needle and I started making clothes for my Barbie doll because my mother didn't really buy a whole lot of Barbie clothes. Oh gosh. And so I started. Oops, sorry guys. So I started. Hold on. Let me get this together. I'm struggling. So I started I started cutting up clothes or fabric around the house. I mean, whatever was old enough that I could cut up, I would cut it up and just make Barbie clothes. And that's when I realized that I could sew with needle and thread, no machine. And then when it was time for me to go to college, I really didn't want to go. I really didn't like school. I hated school. I don't know. I just was not a school girl. And that's so funny because the path that I took, you would think that I loved school all my life. And so my dad was like, "Oh no, you're going to college. No ifs, ands, and buts." I was like, "Geez, Dad, I don't have a choice. Like what?" So I went to Norfolk State. Of course, I majored in fashion design. He told me not to, but I wanted to major in it. And it wasn't a lot of resources to tap into, but I met some great people that are doing their thing today, and I must say, it's possible. It's definitely possible. It just it depends on your drive and your ambition, and how you network. It is possible, even when you have very little resources, but it really comes down to skill. Do you really have the skill? And then there's so many different opportunities within the fashion industry, but you just got to figure out which lane you need to be in. So anyway, I graduated. I had moved to DC, went to school there, Marymount University for a short period. Then I ended up back at Norfolk State, but I graduated. And then I'm like, wow, what am I going to do with my life? Because the fashion design thing definitely did not pan out. But I will say I ended up moving to New York. It's funny, I moved to Atlanta first. I did not like it. And I left Atlanta and I went to New York. And I ended up finding out that a friend, and at the time she wasn't my friend yet, but we knew each other from the Hampton Roads area, and we linked up, and she was doing a little bit of fashion things, and then I ended up meeting a fashion stylist, well known back in the day, and I got to do a couple of projects with her, assisting her. So I actually got to explore the fashion industry and the fashion styling. So that was fun. But unfortunately, I had to pay bills. So, of course, I had to get a real job. So I started feeling like, I really need to figure out what I really, really want to do, because the fashion design thing didn't pan out. And I decided I wanted to go back and get my master's. And I would have stayed in New York, but it just so happened I got accepted to Bowie State University, and I went there. And, of course, I had family there, too. So that was an easy transition. I just moved back that way. So I did that. Ended up teaching fashion design, go figure, because my dad insisted that I should have majored in education teaching anyway, but didn't do it. But I ended up in the classroom for a short period while I was working on my master's, got my degree in HR, and then ended up in HR for some time. And eventually got married, had my daughter, and all the fun that I had went out the window. So now it's just different kind of fun when you become a mom and a wife, but I definitely had some fun, and that'll be another vlog when I tell y'all some stories. But so anywho, I still love fashion. I actually ended up moving to Delaware. I ended up going back to school again with my job and got my doctorate. finished that in 2020 during the pandemic. So things actually were a little bit of sunshine my way in 2020 in spite of all the darkness with COVID. So here we are, and I'm just hoping 2021 just give us some more sunshine, some light. We can really enjoy ourselves this year. I'm going to pray on that. Yes, I'm going to claim that right now. I hope that we can. So here we are. So yeah, that's my story. And well, I must say I missed a lot of opportunities that I just didn't think about in my younger years, but it's never too late. And I'm more into my health now, my fitness goals. I have those, and I just try to focus on helping other people, and then of course I have my daughter now, so I have to raise her and make sure she makes the right decisions, because of course you learn, and it's a learning process. It's just experience, and you have to go through it, period. And so I said it to say, just don't doubt yourself. Take risk. You just never know where you're going to end up. And never be ashamed of your decisions, because your decisions, they groom you to be who you are. Just don't go backwards. That's all. Just don't go backwards. And that's all I have to say for today, guys. So I'm going to check you out later. This was very fun and I enjoyed it. So I look forward to 2021 and new opportunities, and I will see you all soon. Toodles.